All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something that might just change everything for you. How one tiny little word can completely flip the script on challenges, turning those frustrating roadblocks into some of your biggest opportunities.
So, let me just ask you this. What if the one thing standing between you and, well, pretty much anything you want to achieve is a simple three-letter word? It's a wild thought, right? But honestly, so many of us are held back by it, and we don't even have a clue.
And this slide just nails the entire concept. Look, on one side, you've got the fixed mindset. I can't do this, period. It's a wall, a dead end. But on the other side, the growth mindset just adds one little word. I can't do this yet. And suddenly, it's not a wall anymore. It's a path.
Okay, so before we get to the good stuff, the solution, we really need to understand the problem. We've got to dig into this mindset challenge that gets so many of us, and I mean so many of us, completely stuck.
So meet the villain of our story. The fixed mindset. This is that little voice in your head that says your talents, your intelligence, your abilities, they're all just set in stone. And when you believe that, every single challenge, every tough moment feels like proof that you're just not good enough. And you know what happens next, right? We get frustrated, we feel defeated, and we quit.
But what if there was an antidote? What if there's a way to fight back against that voice? Well, there is. And this is where things get really, really cool. Let's talk about the incredible power of yet, an idea that comes from some amazing research, and honestly, it changes the whole game.
You know, the secret weapon that researcher Carol Dweck found wasn't some complicated therapy or a 10-step program. Nope. It's just a simple, tiny shift in how we talk to ourselves. It's this one little word that can literally rewire our brain for learning. And here's the hero of the story, the growth mindset. This is the simple belief that our abilities can be developed, that we can get smarter, better, stronger. By just adding the word yet, we totally reframe challenges. They're not scary anymore. They're just temporary. And get this, the science shows that this simple shift actually fires up the learning parts of our brain, making us want to try harder and stick with things longer.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but does it actually work in the real world? And the answer is a resounding yes. Let's look at the proof, from iconic inventors to some of the world's greatest athletes, and even in the classroom.
Just think about Thomas Edison. People asked him about his thousands of so-called failures trying to invent the light bulb, but he didn't see them as failures at all. He basically said, I just haven't found the right way yet. That not yet attitude is what turned 10,000 dead ends into one of the most important inventions ever.
Or for a more recent example, look at the absolute legend Simone Biles. When she stepped back during the Olympics, she didn't call it a failure. She just said she wasn't ready yet. That mindset gave her the space to take care of herself and then come back even stronger. She completely changed the conversation about what real strength is. And hey, if stories aren't enough for you, let's look at the cold, hard data. In one of Carol Dweck's studies, she took a group of students and simply taught them to add yet when they were struggling. The results were, well, they were staggering. The yet group was more persistent and their grades went up a lot. This isn't just a feel-good idea, it's a measurable fact.
All right, so you get the what and the why. Now for the really important part, the how. How do you actually do this? This is your quick start guide to putting the power of yet to work for you, like today.
Step 1 is all about awareness. You've got to become a detective of your own thoughts. Start listening for those fixed mindset phrases. You know the ones, ugh, I'm so bad at this, or I'll never get it, or the big one, this is impossible. When you hear that voice, that's your trigger. That's your signal to step in.
And here is a super powerful little exercise to make this a habit. First, think of a challenge you're dealing with. Second, write down that negative fixed thought that pops into your head. Now for the magic part, just rewrite that sentence, but stick yet on the end. And finally, this is really important, write down one tiny, doable next step. Just like that, you've turned a dead end into a to-do list.
So let's bring this all home. We've talked about the problem, the amazing solution, we've seen the proof, and you have a way to practice it. The only thing left is to start looking forward and asking yourself a totally new kind of question.
Honestly, if you forget everything else we've talked about, please just remember this. When you strip away all the science and all the stories, it all boils down to the single most powerful word for growth. Yet, that's it. It's a bridge from where you are now to where you could be. It gives you permission to be a work in progress, which we all are. It's the difference between a full stop at the end of a sentence and 3 little dots that mean to be continued. So I'll leave you with this to think about. That goal you gave up on, that skill you decided was just too hard, what is one challenge in your life that you are simply not done with, yet?